Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be continuing our conversation in our statistics unit, and we are going to be talking about random sampling. So our objective for today is I will be able to explain why various methods would produce a random sample or not. So everyone in a population must have an equal chance of being selected in order for a sample to be random. Alright, so we're going to think of some examples of random samples. So pause the video and try to think of some on your own first. Alright, so I hope that you came up with a couple on your own, but let's talk about a couple that I came up with as well. So if there are 300 7th graders in a school and the principal put all 300 names in a hat and picked 10 names for a prize, that would be a random sample. The population would be all 300 7th graders, and the sample is random because every 7th grader has an equal chance of being chosen. Another example would be there's someone at a mall entrance conducting a survey. They decide to ask every 15th person who walked in the main entrance to participate. So the population is people entering the mall through the main entrance, and the sample is random because everyone has the opportunity to be asked to take the survey. And I should be more specific, everybody that walks through the mall main entrance. Now the survey wouldn't be random if we're asking everybody in the mall to participate, but because we're just talking about the people that walk through the main door, it is random. Alright, so let's take a look at this situation, and we're going to determine if the various methods would produce a random sample or not. So the senior class president would like to host an after-graduation lock-in. There will be games, gifts, and food. In order to decide if people would be willing to buy tickets and attend, she has to decide to conduct a survey. She will collect 25 students to meet and give input into the prizes, food, and ticket price. There are 500 members in the senior class. So scenario number 1, she selects every 10th student as they get off the bus. So is this random or not? So what I suggest for each of these is you pause to try to figure it out yourself and then resume so then I can tell you the correct answer. So this one is not random because only the students who ride the bus get the opportunity to participate. So the other side of that would be the students who don't ride the bus wouldn't be involved in the survey. Okay, number 2, she asked the choir director to allow her to survey the choir. So pause it. Alright, so no, once again, this is not random. Any student that's not in the choir wouldn't be included. So that would not be random, that would not be fair to the students who are not involved in choir. Number 3, she makes an announcement that people interested can meet in the library after school to participate. That was also not random because only volunteers would be participating. Think about it. If you didn't have time after work or after school rather, or maybe your mom was picking you up and you can't get a ride later after school, or you didn't want to do it, that wouldn't be random because only the volunteers would be participating. It's not a true sample of everybody. Number 4, she meets with the counselor who selects her 20th student on the school roster. Pause it and think. Okay, that is random because every student has the opportunity to participate in that survey. It's completely random, every 20th student. Alright, she assigns each senior a number and randomly selects 25 numbers. Okay, so pause it and think. Yes, that's also random. And it says in the title, randomly selects 25 numbers. We don't know, there's no bias, you're not picking anybody, it's literally random. And then number 6, a roster of the senior class is printed. Each student's name is put into a hat. The principal selects 25 names. So the principal is choosing 25 names out of a hat to pick, so we know that that's random because every student has a chance to be able to participate. So we can use the sample to tell us information about the entire population. So in other words, that sample in the entire population is a proportion. So surprise, proportions are coming back. We cannot get rid of them. We are going to use our knowledge from earlier in the year to continue and learn things about samples and populations. So a video company randomly selected 100 of its subscribers and asked them how many hours of shows they watch per week. Of those surveyed, 35 watch more than 10 hours per week. based on the data, if the company has 3,000 subscribers, how many watch more than 10 hours per week? So remember this little formula, percent over 100 equals part over whole. This is the formula that we're going to use to try to figure out if the company has 3,000 subscribers, about how many more watch 10 hours a week. So what we're going to do is we are going to, and I need to get my pen up here we go. So we are going to look at it, percent over 100 equals part over whole. So randomly select 100 of its subscribers and ask them, of those surveyed, 35 watch more than 10 hours. So our percent is over 100, 35 out of 100, so we know that 35 out of 100 would be our percent. So 35 over 100 equals part over whole. So we don't know the part yet because we want to know how many of the whole watch 10 hours a week. But we do know the whole is 3,000 subscribers. So now we know how to do this. We cross multiply 35 times 3,000. So 35 times 3,000, which is 105,000. So 100x is equal to 105,000. Divide both sides by 100. Cross out the zeros, so we get 1,050 subscribers. Okay, so we're cross multiplying it. It's just an easy proportion here. So let's do one more together, and then you will be trying two on your own. So below is data collected from a random sample of 80 students regarding their elective preference. So you guys did this very similarly with the guidance counselors that we talked about. What elective or which one would you want to do? PE, music, or art? So if the entire school has 400 students, then what is a reasonable estimate for the number of students who prefer music? So let's take a look at this. So first of all, we're going to do our percent over 100 equals part over whole. So percent over 100 is equal to part over whole. All right, so we have, here we go. So we have, if the entire school has 400 students, that would be the whole. Okay, and we want to know an estimate for the number of students who prefer music. And the reason why it's an estimate is because you don't know what everybody's going to choose. It's just kind of a sample. Okay, so now percent over 100, or in this case, we're going to do the random sample of 80. So to find the percent, it's kind of like part over whole again. So 80 is what our 100 is going to be, because 80 is the whole, or the sample. So another way you might want to write it is the percent or the part over the sample. And then we know we want music, so we have 14 over 80. So now we cross multiply. 80x is equal to 14 times 400. So 14 times 400 is equal to 5,600. Divide both sides by 80. So x is equal to 70. So we have about 70 students would be interested in music. All right, so your You-Try problems today is to complete numbers 8 and 9 on the guided notes. Try your best, use the examples. Remember, we want our part over the sample is equal to the part over whole of the actual amount. So it's the sample amount is equal to the real amount. So try those. We will be going over those together when I see you again. And if you have any questions, please write those down as well. So thank you so much for actively listening and trying your best on this. And remember, to get full credit, you have to try. It's called You-Try. You have to try it. All right, so I will see you guys later. Have a good night.